Concentra was requiring CDL employees to sign a medical release form for random US DOT drug testing. Employees who refused to sign this release, which is not required by DOT or FMCSA for a drug test, were denied the opportunity to take the drug and alcohol test and later deemed as a refusal. Does this sound right? The answer is no. Let's get in the loop with Luke and discuss. Look, professionals understand that federally regulated drug tests are necessary, especially for safety-sensitive positions, and the consequences for failed tests are harsh. These consequences are in place to protect employees, employers, and the public. But some policies go too far and ruin careers before a drug test is even given. Recently, the American Postal Workers Union, APWU, received information that the U.S. Postal Service, through Concentra, is requiring postal employees to sign a release of information that allows access to the employee's personal health records and information during drug and alcohol testing. This medical release information is required according to United States Postal Service medical suitability policy, which states, to deem medical suitability to perform the functions of a particular position, a medical assessment is mandatory for all career and non-career appointments and employees applying for positions that have more demanding physical requirements than the employee's present position. It goes on saying medical personnel may require medical records from physicians, clinics, or hospitals to conduct a medical assessment. Medical personnel coordinate obtaining this information. While this company policy is totally fine, it's when the request for information is being done and the consequences if they refuse. So, when is it requested? Well, employees received a prompt during Concentra's online check-in for a drug test that stated, your employer requests you register online for faster check-in at your upcoming visit. I give Concentra authorization to release to my employer, insurance company, and their representatives, including any medical information, including any psychotherapy notes, psychiatric information, sexually transmitted diseases, alcohol and drug abuse, and or HIV/AIDS status, which is obtained as part of the evaluation and or treatment for this work-related injury, illness, or employment-related examination. Employees who refused to sign a release of medical information form were denied the opportunity to take the upcoming drug and alcohol test. The important problem here is that the failure to take a scheduled drug and alcohol test is considered a refusal to test or treated as a positive test, which uploads into the Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse database following you wherever you go, suspends driving privileges, requires the driver to complete the return to duty process to return to safety-sensitive work, and prevents the driver starting work until the return to duty process is complete if they change employment. This requirement imposed by the U.S. Postal Service and Concentra to sign a release of personal medical information is inconsistent with DOT and FMCSA regulations and should never have been considered a refusal to test. Never. So why is a refusal to test important to document? This is all about safety. If a professional CDL driver is on drugs, he or she might suffer from limited motor skills, depth perception, and reaction time. These issues often lead to accidents that can be dangerous for other drivers, passengers, and pedestrians. In fact, according to the National Transportation Safety Board, 35% of fatal truck accidents are caused by drug use. Additionally, a recent analysis of data found that 28% of truck driving respondents consumed drugs. The report states that it appears that truck drivers choose stimulant substances as a form of performance-enhancing drug to increase productivity. However, chronic and high-dose consumption has been shown to decrease driving skills, placing these professional drivers at risk for health and road safety. Drug testing is required by the Department of Transportation for all CDL drivers for pre-employment, random, post-accident, and reasonable suspicion because it helps ensure that only safe, healthy drivers are on the road. But what exactly is a DOT refusal to test? Refusals to submit to a drug and alcohol test are defined in Part 382.107. Some refusals are determined by medical review officers and alcohol technicians. Several scenarios that the DOT outlines as a refusal to test include failure to appear for any test, except for pre-employment test, within a reasonable time, failure to remain at the testing site until the testing process is complete, failure to provide a urine specimen for any drug test, failure to provide a sufficient amount of urine when directed, and it has been deemed through a required medical evaluation that there was no adequate medical explanation for the failure, and many more, which you can see in our article linked below. What did Concentra do wrong? While not agreeing to something in the online check-in sounds like the employee failed to cooperate with any part of the testing process, which is a refusal to test, the FMCSA and DOT do not require the testing clinic to provide a medical release form when taking a DOT physical or drug and alcohol test. This was also spelled out in the Postal Worker Union collective bargaining agreement with United States Postal Service. This mistake by Concentra could have placed many professional and qualified drivers out of a job and hurt their careers for years. But what do we not know yet? Who deemed it a requirement to sign the medical release form? Who deemed it a refusal to test? Did or does Concentra use the same pre-check-in medical release requirement for other groups and companies? If so, how many drivers have been given a refusal outside of the United States Postal Service? And does Concentra still use this check-in requirement? Does this lose credibility at Concentra? At CNS, we offer a comprehensive drug and alcohol consortium service and are a certified consortium and third-party administrator. Our experts ensure that all DOT rules and regulations are followed, including the implementation of random drug tests for you and your drivers, updating your company drug testing policies, record retention, and document purge management. We take all the necessary steps and precautions to keep you and your drivers compliant with the DOT drug and alcohol testing requirements. For more information, click the form linked below or email us at info@cnsprotects.com. And as always, stay safe out there.